couldn't sleep. So I thought I'd come to check out some stuff on YouTube. And I see God low down with atheism, why hate. First of all, I am happy that you're able to get all that stuff sorted out and you got your videos all restored. That's really cool. I'm happy for you. I saw that on your last video that you were talking, or one of the last ones, you said it was Front Page Media. I actually checked into that. You were not the only target of Front Page Media. I found information about them. I can actually supply it. You're not the only one hit by that. Atheists were also hit. Also, people who have nothing to do with any kind of debates were hit by Front Page Media. I saw two things on that. One was talking about it being a marketing ploy for people to try and get your personal information to try and sell you crap. Another thing I saw on it was suspect of some things with identity theft. So you may want to rethink that and do a little bit more investigation before you make such a accusation towards anybody. Anyway, the gist of your video has to do with Christians and their attitudes towards religious folk. And yes, I agree with you on a whole bunch of stuff. But here's something I've noticed. And this is, today I was curious about something. So I actually looked at fans of, well, I watched a bunch of different things for Christians and atheists and Muslims, Muslims and atheists, Christians and Muslims, and actually watched the attitudes of from PMs, as well as how their attitude was when they were debating each other, whether it was, like I make a video and then they make a video back to me and then I'll make a video back to them, or whether it's through PMs or what have you, and just watching the attitudes. Then what I did was I went and I watched people who were debating their favorite sports teams, and seeing video debates between, well, I'm a Packers fan, well, I'm a Vikings fan, and I'll see that they'll get just as hostile with each other. And I'm thinking about that, and it's like, holy crap, we're talking about these being identical. If we actually shut the sound down and watch the attitudes and body language, you don't know what they're talking about, but you can see they're pretty pissed at each other and they're really duking it out. And I'm thinking about that going, huh, this is interesting. And I had me an epiphany. It seems more logical to say that atheists aren't, it is part of it, but atheists aren't just so much pissed off that people are believing. And Christians aren't so much pissed off that others are believing in something else, or that they are pissed off that other people are not believing. But it looks more like a team loyalty thing, like a tribal thing, a territorial. That's what I'm witnessing as to be more accurate. And that was really kind of like, wow. So yeah, it seems like the biggest animosities, from my observations, and that would actually be interesting if somebody could actually do a scientific study on that. But yeah, it seems more like the biggest animosities and anger issues is team loyalty. Now, I would hate for you to martyr Christianity the way you seem to be about how they're all going after you guys, because we're getting it on this side too. I get the hate mails as well. I get the sarcastic and hateful things just like you guys do. So it's not just a one-way thing. There's something else that you got to consider. If you saw it through our side, you wouldn't just be like, shrug it off, yeah, they believe and that's it. One of the things you got to realize, atheists' lives are governed by you religious folk. Things that you guys do have a direct impact on our lives. Okay? That abortion thing that just came up recently in Oklahoma. Um, Wars from past all the way to present. It has a direct impact on us. So our thing isn't so much about being pissed off at religion in and of itself, but the influence it has on its believers and what it causes them to do. And with them being in the vast majority and having major impacts on our lives, makes it very difficult to live with you guys on this planet, in the neighborhoods. So yeah, that's what we are annoyed about. If religion pretty much just left the rest of the world alone, then there'd be a no issue. It would be 100% non-issue. People would be able to just shrug it off. But it forces itself in our lives. It's on our money. It's trying to weasel its way into the schools. So these are things you've got to consider. That's why we have a problem. So when you analyze these things, you need to go into it a little bit further and stop trying to see it just through your eyes. I appreciate that you said, I would just shrug it off. But the reality is if you actually were an atheist and you did open your eyes to the world around you, you would be a bit more annoyed. You know what? I actually do agree with you on what you said in there about the Bible. If you took everything about God out of it and repackaged it, it would be a huge hit when it comes to tips on lives and financial being and stuff like that. I think so. There are quite a few theists who completely disregard the Bible and look at it as just a sadistic tool for Christians, and it actually is full of a lot of really cool stuff. Atheists, if go through it, read it. My favorite stuff in there is like Proverbs and Psalms. It's got poetry in it. There are some tips in it. Proverbs has tips on living, kids respecting their parents, do what you're told, things like that. It does have a collection of really useful stuff. So I would agree with you on that. And if it was packaged differently, then yeah. But I do not believe that it was written with 100% accuracy with its stories. I don't even believe it was written with 50% or 25% accuracy of its stories. I do believe that all legends have their footing in reality, that it came from somewhere, inspired by actual events. But I do not believe that those events were things like resurrections and what have you. Anyway, liked your video. Glad you got that stuff sorted out. Again, with the Front Page Media, that's not an atheist group or person. That's a con game, and it's also hit people who don't do any kind of debates on YouTube whatsoever. And it's also hit atheists, so you can do an apology on that one, or don't. It's up to you. But you got hit by an ass, and I hope it doesn't ever happen to you again. I find your stuff interesting. Anyway, somehow magic. I'll talk to you all later.